Okay, on the back of 2.6, there are a couple story problems. All right? And, or at least word problems where you're having to write this out. Gunner, turn to your desk. That way you're facing this way. Okay? So we have a number is less than 4 units from 0. Anytime you're taking a situation where you want to think of it like on a number line, most of you can do that on a number line. If I said, hey, where's 0? You'd be able to show me the 0, and you'd be able to say, well, this number has to be 4 units from 0. I'm going 4 that way, and I could go 4 this way. Okay, so really, most of you know the answer. Like the two numbers they're talking about are what? 4 and negative 4. Okay, so when you're writing that as an absolute value, you're actually, if we use the number n, the letter n to represent number, so we'll call it the number n. Okay, and we're using this as our starting point. So n minus 0, that's where we're starting, is less than, because it's saying less than, is less than 4. Okay, this right here, most of you recognize that n minus 0 is n. So if I did the math in there, I could get absolute value of n is less than 4. Okay, well, absolute value of n, if we do our positive case is, thank you, is n is less than 4. And then our negative case is n is greater than 4. Okay, or negative 4, excuse me. Got to put the negative sign. Okay, so I'm at negative here. I'm at positive here. I'm shading for positive 4, shading that way. And then negative 4, I'm shading that way. Okay, a number is less than 4 units from 0. Well, we know that that number, any number that's less than 4 units from 0, has to fall between positive 4 and negative 4. Just logically, right? I mean, 2 is less than 4 units from 0. 1 is less than 4 units from 0. Is 5 less than 4 units from 0? No, it's more than 5 units, or 4 units from 0. It would be over here. Therefore, we've shaded our solution set. So if you want like a guideline when you're doing these problems, when you're trying to take a word problem and write it in absolute value format, kind of a guideline, kind of a map to follow if you're adding something to your notes, okay, you're going to take, we'll just say whatever the number is, and we're subtracting it from whatever you put right here is your starting point on your number line. Okay? It's your starting point on your number line. So like in this problem, our starting point was 0. Okay? What goes on this side, and I'm just going to use, for the sake of what we're doing, I'm just going to use our less than sign, but it could be greater than. Okay? What goes over here is how far you're moving from that starting point. What's up? Why are you guys so distracted back there? Yeah. You're not? Oh, okay. Are you taking notes? Okay. That's a piece of paper. So, like, are you writing on it? Cool. So you got this stuff? Oh. Well, they're erasing. Okay. That hopefully will give you a bit of a guideline. Say how far, so zoom in a bit more. You guys see it. How far we move from the starting point. Okay, so those of you struggling with like when you get to number 13, hopefully that'll help out if you can draw your picture first. Right? So I'm going to move from that real quick and look at number 13. A number is more than 11 units from A. Okay, so that means if we're thinking of it in a picture format, I know it takes a little more time, but where do we start? Yeah, this is more than. Go ahead. Hey, you have two options, right? I mean, really, when you're looking at this problem, do you start at 11 or 8? All right, everyone, write it down on your piece of paper. Start at 11 or 8. Got it? You got it? Where you start? What do you mean? What do I mean by that? Okay, how many got it? 11 or 8? Where do we start? Julian? Yeah, we start at 8. And we start at 8 and we move how far away? 11 units. We move this way 11 and this way 11. Okay? So if that's the case, go ahead and write out your inequality. Or excuse me, your absolute value inequality. What goes in the absolute value and what goes on the other side. And then what goes into our, what's our inequality symbol there? All right, so we have n minus, starting place is 8. And in this case, it's more than, so that is greater than 11. Could it be equal to? No, it had. If it said 11 or more, then it could be. Okay? And then from there, we'd be able to solve it. Better? All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention back up here? Okay. Hey, some of you on number 10. Number 10 is a more beefy approach to the story problems that we did on the back, right? So if we're using this same guideline, we can follow. Our starting point goes inside, and then how far we move goes on the outside. So when we're looking at number 10, the rules for a book report, you should have at least 300 words with an absolute deviation. Remember, that means you move 20. Okay? So if I'm taking a look at this, on a number line, where do I start? I start at 300. And I can move this way how far? 20. And I can move this way 20. And most of you know, just kind of like the problem we did last night, most of you know that, hey, well, I can move 20 this way. So the number of pages I read need to be between 280 and 320. Well, when we're writing that as an absolute value, you have n, you put your starting point, and you put how far you can move on the outside. That's how we write those. Now this one has at most 20 words. Okay? So at most 20 words, am I going greater than, less than, equal to? What do I have? Isabel? Yeah, at most 20 is less than or equal to. It could be 20, but it can't be any more than 20. So it has to be less than or equal to. What's that? That just means you can move that direction or that direction. Yeah. Just sounds cool. If you have a pet, you can call it absolute deviation. Get a dog named Absolute Deviation. It'd be awesome. That'd be cool. See? All right, any other questions that have come up? Everyone figure out number 5 or number 9? Shh. Hey, on number 9, just ignore those extra absolute value symbols for a minute and do what's inside first. You subtract 5, right? Is that possible? No. An absolute value be bigger than a negative? Yeah, it's always possible. Always got to be bigger than a negative. Infinitely many, man. All right.